hero.
Have you any hobbies?
My hobbies are fast cars and fast women.
Hobbies are healthy. They teach you things.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Around the UFL interview series. We're in the off season, and we're joined by Jordan Pavlisin, running backs coach for the Michigan Panthers. Jordan, how you doing today, my man? Appreciate you joining us.
Doing great, James. Glad to be here, man. Really look forward to getting the opportunity to speak with you guys, and then also just be a part of this. I've been keeping tabs from a distance. I'm roommate with our linebackers coach Christian Runza, so he's always got it on in the house, and then I've tuned in a few times. But you guys are doing God's work on this thing, so glad to contribute and get on here, man.
We appreciate it. And shout out Coach Runs, man. Friend of the show, been on a couple times. Always a good chat with him. But now we got to get, you guys are like two peas in a pod. I feel like every time I'm chatting with you guys, both of you are there. So it's always a good time. Before we get to everything, Thorn, you're the sole other panelist joined today. Surprisingly, Zach and Jake kind of dipping out here despite having a Panthers guest. But Thorn, you're here to talk crap about DC, aren't you?
Not at all. Yeah, no. I mean, I'm just still riding off the high. I'm good. I don't need to talk any smack. Scoreboard. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. They did enough talking on game day, I feel like. Anyway.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm excited to talk some running backs today.
No, absolutely. And Jordan, season wrapped up about a month or so ago, pretty much to the date. What's this offseason look like for you so far?
So far, man, it's been great. I got back home, got to visit some family, took obviously a little time off, got to travel a little bit with my girlfriend and whatnot, and then just catch up with some old friends, and then finally kind of just started back getting into breaking down the cut ups and stuff a couple of weeks ago. Back home settled, finally can start breaking into some of that stuff and see what we take a further dive into what we did well this last year, what we need to improve on, all that fun stuff. So got to take a little bit of a second to catch my breath though to get ready here. The last couple of off seasons I've gone and coached high school ball out here in Southern California. So it's usually just jumping straight back into it. But this year I don't have that plan so far. So kind of just Gonna definitely, at least at the very least, focus on just, optimizing our time. We don't get off. Well, we don't have a structured off season like they do at like college and the professional level,
Right.
with like OTAs and stuff. So it'd be nice to have some time though to kind of do exactly what those coaches do when they get that time. So.
Yeah, it is a bit different in the UFL where if you've got a short training camp, you guys have to jump into things pretty quickly. You've got 3, maybe 4 weeks at best to figure it out, and then no preseason, you're going out and playing. So I'd assume, kind of like you said, maybe talk a bit about that training camp process and what it's like in the UFL. Everyone lives down in Arlington. You all show up, and really it's just jumping right into everything as quickly as possible because this past year you had only 3 weeks.
No doubt, man. It seems like goes by faster every year, but luckily, this was year 3, so we've had some reps at it. But it's really it ain't crawl, walk, run. It's crawl, walk, sprint. I don't even know if you got time to walk. Really, it's like. But anyway, the process itself, the league has helped it out a ton by our setup. Like having that headquarters in Arlington really helped with meetings and like having meeting space where you can meet with your guys. The first year we'd be fighting over, the Philly, like we shared space with the Philly Stars, like, okay, who's gonna get to go when, because you'll talk over each other because there's just like little curtains separating our meeting space. So that has been awesome. Our film has gotten much better. We've upgraded, the league's upgraded some stuff with that. So that makes it a lot easier to watch practice when you're not dealing with all the issues, because year 1 we had a ton of issues with like the delay and getting the film up, and or just not playing and it's shorting out when you're trying to give corrections and stuff. But as far as the quick training camp itself, the players make it so much easier too. We're like, that's one of the biggest things this year, I think, that's been best from years prior, especially on the offensive side of the ball with us, is we had continuity, this being year 2 in Marcel's offense. So we brought a lot of guys back that were familiar with the system already, so we could start a little bit higher. Like we still start at the base, but you can kind of start adding stuff a little bit quicker because guys get a grasp of things that much faster. But when it comes to techniques and stuff, you're still starting, crawl, walk, run. At least I make sure I do. Like in our room, we're starting our individuals, from the ground up basically. But luckily at the professional level, it's not like high school and stuff where you got to like literally teach guys how to do stuff. Like, they're coming in with a really good base knowledge. So it's more so just tightening those up and making sure we're on our P's and Q's with those.
Yeah, I'd assume if they came in without that knowledge, they'd be a pretty quick cut. But you can't really have that at the
Yeah,
pro
you ain't
level.
got time to coach that here. You're right. And if they
Yeah,
can't do
I mean, I
something,
know
you
it's a
just find
developmental
somebody who
league,
can.
but you've got to at least understand the basics. I did want to ask about that. You mentioned that the headquarters down there in Arlington, kind of a bit of a newer thing in the UFL, where obviously you were all down there in Arlington last year, but this year the new headquarters, like, what is that setup like? I know you guys are sharing offices and kind of an office space with a bunch of other teams, but it feels like it's pretty organized and well put together.
Yeah, it definitely was. That was one thing that the league made a priority this offseason. Daryl came and talked with us about, but like basically they had all 8 teams working out of the same headquarters, like everyone knows, and then on the first floor is just the lobby. Second floor, it was us, Birmingham, Arlington, and San Antonio, and then the next floor was the last 4 teams, right? DC, Memphis. Um, Holy cow! Because
St.
I'm
Louis,
already forgetting everybody. St. Louis and
Houston.
Houston. There you go. Sorry, I was trying to get to my next point, but basically, so in each corner of this huge building is the team space, and they've got it blocked off the entry to where like you get basically I don't think anyone got busted, but it's like it's a penalty if you're caught in somebody else's meeting spaces and stuff like that. So everyone just policed themselves. I hope nobody broke into our spaces, but if they did, that's pretty sad. But anyway, the setup itself was awesome. There was just it's like the league, like I said, they really invested in it, and I think it paid dividends. The only thing that I will say is not optimal is like we still practiced out in South Lake Carolina, driving nearly 30 minutes with traffic and stuff every day to practice and back. So used a lot of gas. Luckily, gas prices aren't terrible in Texas, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, Texas
maybe
at
next
least.
year they include the gas in the contract. I don't know. I'm just saying, like something like that.
Daryl, if you're listening, man, let's get that in the next the assistant coach CBA that's coming up.
Yeah, shoot, I wish.
Nick, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I wanted to. My first question's about Toa Tawa because I think he's one of the more interesting stories of this whole season, and really kind of a theme for this Panthers team was guys who took a step, right? Where, you saw Ryan Nelson and Gunnar Oaks and I think Tawa, where, maybe they were just, depth or rotational players last year, really become one of the best players at their position. And I think Tawa was one of them. And so, going from being cut multiple times to now like one of the star running backs in the league, what's your, you know, thoughts on that whole process and kind of, talk through like what happened in camp where, okay, he wasn't good enough to, make the roster initially and then suddenly he's, one of the best running backs in the UFL.
Gotcha, Nick. So starting off, just right from your last sentence there, like he has been the last 2 years. I thought he was talented enough to make the roster. Just it's a numbers game, right? We can only have three guys, so like his style is very similar to some of the other guys that we've had in the past, and that basically like we try to make sure we diversify the types of backs we have in the room to where like we can cover all the different facets. So like we got a guy with the home run hitter that can have his second gear and stuff like that. Toa, his biggest thing that stunk for him is he was so really good at everything, and he doesn't get to show off what he showed this year in games, which we knew he had in him was the power factor, the ability to get low and run behind his pads. Because obviously, whether it's a scrimmage, whether it's us in practice in training camp, like you're not going at the tempo where you can really show that off. But Toa has done a great job ever since he first came our first year one actually at towards the end of the season. We had an injury he came in. And ever since he showed up, he's handled business like a true professional, done everything we asked for him. He's one of the best guys I've ever had in the room as far as just being coachable. And then he came ready to go. He told me he was ready right when Matt went down with the injury this year, and I hit him up. I didn't even get to hit him up. He texted me. He's like, "Coach, I'm already ready. Like, let me know." So like he's just been waiting for it.
He was ready to get off the golf course.
Yeah, right. He really was. He was training his butt off, though. He was talking about that as well. But he was working out. He had a great camp, and he was ready to show what he was capable. I still remember our first game. He came up to me. He's like, "Coach, I'm so grateful for this." And I said, "Man, you earned this opportunity, so go make the most of it." And didn't look back from that moment on. He's handled business ever since he's been here, and I'm so happy he got opportunity to show what he was capable of and show the whole league, put the whole league on notice. Hopefully, the NFL takes notes too, and he gets an opportunity here shortly. But if not, we'll get him there. We'll get him there eventually.
I want
Yeah.
to jump in quick, Nick, if you don't mind, and kind
Yeah,
of
go
just
for it.
speaking on that. This is the league of opportunity, right? And that's what spring football is all about, and giving these guys a second chance. And that's something that you're pretty familiar with, because I know you played some pro football overseas. You also played in arena football a couple of years ago. How did those kind of experiences maybe shape your view of the UFL and the spring football ecosystem here in 2025?
That has definitely helped out a ton. I mean, I still remember, being in the back then they didn't have the UFL. It was like the Arena Football League, but I started in the Arena Two, and then I got to the Arena One basically, which at that time it was pretty cool. It was like on ESPN. It had like a little Xbox video game, and like it had some. We weren't getting paid much, but especially starting in that second league and then moving up, you like see kind of you get a feel for the type of guys that just love the game and really want to make it right. Like the NFL doesn't have a minor league system or anything like that, so there's a lot of guys that just their last two raws, mini camp or their pro day in some cases, so they don't get another opportunity. They don't even get to show it any other way or showcase it. So that's why these leagues are so awesome in regards to getting these guys opportunities. But I just think one of the biggest things I learned from that also is the business side of things and how that plays a role. Like we were just talking about with Till, like there's going to be numbers things. At the end of the day, it is a business, and that's one unfortunate thing about it. But it's also, it's real life. It's going to be in any job you do in this world. There's going to be business decisions made, and uh, it's one of as much of it is as a detractor from the game. It's also what makes it the high stakes and everything what it is, right? Everything matters more, everything means more. Not everyone gets a trophy, not everyone gets paid the same, all that stuff. So definitely has been good for me. And then The Europe thing, that was more just a free paid vacation after graduating. That was pretty awesome going out to Germany and doing that. But I don't have to worry about any language barriers or nothing here. But
Right,
it's
right.
dealing. I'll tell you one thing though, dealing with this constant, dealing with these the generations as they get older. That's always keeping me on my toes. It might not be a different language, but some of these terms are close sometimes. With got to stay up to date. The players keep me accountable for staying up to with all the latest terms and whatnot.
Latest lingo
Uh,
and all that.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm probably too up to date with that. I'll come back and say stuff to like my little brother and my girl, and they'll be like, "What? Where did you hear that?"
I wanted to ask about, kind of your off season a little bit. And, I'm a personnel guy at heart, and I'm kind of curious what your guys' process is as far as running backs go this off season. Let me check the roster. Have you guys re-signed anyone? I don't
I don't think
think
so yet.
so.
No, not one
No,
running
yeah,
back.
all three haven't yet. Yeah. So, Michigan has been signing a lot of people really early in the offseason, which, them and Houston have been kind of unique in that, where they're getting their guys on their contract really early. And so I'm just kind of curious what your process is about, looking at tape and, how you and Steve Kazar kind of tackle that room.
Yeah, there you just hit the nail on the head. That last statement, Steve Kaiser, he's the godfather of all things personnel, and he handles everything for us. But he does a great job of reaching out to each position coach and kind of keeping us in the loop on whether it's having us look at guys that he's interested, or us bringing guys to him that he'll look at, and then we'll kind of go from there, conversate. Then it kind of gets to the coordinator, head coach level from there. But we're always on the lookout. Obviously, I want all my guys back this season, from this season, and I'm sure they will be. But my job at the end of the day is just to coach whoever's here, and I'm gonna always give my best for that. And hopefully it keeps paying dividends, and I keep getting lucky with getting some great players in my room because, like I said, Steve Kaiser does a great job with that. But to get a little more detail into your question too, like we well, like the biggest thing now with them moving this draft back this year is going to help out a lot because last year you almost had to guess like who's going to be good enough to like get a look but get cut and not make the team, and then that's who you got to draft. So this year it'll be nice because you already know who's made it and who's not. That's going to be huge. I think that it'll lead to a better product in our league, to be honest, because you're not going to be wasting draft picks. You're going to be able to sign guys. I'm sure some of them probably still might not want to come because they want to, send it for the NFL dream, but can't knock that. But I do think that overall it'll lead to a better product coming into our league and a better
And
quality of play.
and when you look at Michigan and the success they've had with their draft picks already, it's a place where it's like, hey, like if we draft you, we're gonna play you. Like you're gonna come here and you're gonna get tape. So I think that adds a little extra factor to it as well. Where we've seen teams like yourself, teams like Houston, they signed like I think 6 or 7 of their draft picks last year. A few of them made the active roster and were big pieces of their success this year as well. So I think that yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch. This I think what it is like September 2nd or something like that. I believe is the date. So
It's
that'll
in
be fun.
September. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be like I said, not so much trying to predict the future, more so just you're gonna have a set list of guys, so that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You're always
definitely think.
I guess you're always trying to predict the future, but it's like not you're removing a layer from it,
And it's a
right? So
smaller
Yeah,
pool
absolutely.
too that you're looking primarily at the guys that were cut rather than looking at anybody that could have been drafted. So
hmm exactly, 100%.
Yeah, I
Which
think
some
in
guys.
gen.
So go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like in general, this to me this was a no-brainer, and in general, I think honestly, I would do all cuts in a draft. I think that would be a big event thing. But at least for this, last year it was a lot of drafting. Either you're drafting a guy who's really good and he's basically a futures play, where like, hey, maybe 2 3 years down the line you're gonna get him, or you're drafting a guy who's basically kind of a camp guy that's okay, he's gonna be available for you, but like is that guy gonna necessarily be your starting middle linebacker or starting running back or whatever. That was more hit or
hmm
miss, and you guys did a good job with like a Brian Dooley getting being able to split the difference, but that's really hard, and I think every team struggled at that, where it's like, hey, are we getting difference makers for the now? And also now it's like that you can do that, like guys can get excited for the draft now, because when you're drafting a player, it means, hey, this is a guy that, 9 times out of 10 is actually going to play for us, and not Jason Bean, who might, or a Sam
Exactly.
Hartman, who might play a decade in the NFL and you never see him.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that risk. So, limiting that as much as you can is, I think, a no brainer.
Yep, I agree, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting. Hopefully, we keep making changes and stuff like that to keep things like adapting, right? We got to keep adapting. The league's done a great job of that so far.
To kind of bounce off of one of Nick's questions already, we got a question from Christopher Tisdale in here. With Michigan having re-signed a bunch of guys compared to the rest of the league so far, was this strategy discussed with the coaches going into the offseason, or kind of what did that process look like?
Yeah, so usually towards the end of the year, whether like usually right after it ends, yeah, it is actually. It's right after the season ends. We go. Coach Nolan has us kind of rate our guys as position coaches, and then they, like I said, Steve Case is the godfather of personnel. He takes it in, and Coach Nolan take it in, and then they kind of make moves from there. And they talk to you about guys as well. That's a conversation they have. That's like one cool thing, like with the culture we've established and working with each other now for.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
We lost him.
In the meantime, Thorne, it's time to talk your crap. He's not here. You can say whatever you want.
Not doing that still. I'm not falling into that trap. We can talk a little bit, just if we're
He's
oh no,
joining
never mind.
back.
There we go. He's back.
Can you hear us all right?
I just dropped. I just randomly just dropped out. Sorry. I guess my connection dropped or something. It's my Wi-Fi is good.
No,
That was weird.
you know what? You're probably about to say something that Mike Nolan didn't want you to say, and
Okay.
he
Just
put
cut
in the
out.
word.
He he said, shut this guy out." But no. The that as far as that process goes, like we we'll communicate as a staff together, and then also directly with the GM, and then go from there. At the end of the day, the head coach and the GM got the final say on all things personnel. That's their department. We're just here to coach ball, so we'll give them our opinions if they want them and if they ask for them. But then, like I said, luckily we do have that platform here. Coach Nolan like trusts us and values our opinion for the most part. But but he's we've built that trust with him, right? We've been here for a couple of years, gone to war a few times together, and we've gotten better every year. So just got to stay the course and keep focusing on improving every year.
Yeah, we've seen the offense over the last 3 seasons. It feels like 2023 was pretty inconsistent. Last year we saw a lot of strides in the right direction, and then this year things really moved in the right direction. It helps when you've got Bryce Perkins healthy for the majority of the year. I'd be curious to get your thoughts on what a guy like Perkins brings to the table, which is his athleticism, the dynamic playmaking abilities that he brings. How does that impact what you do with your running backs and just kind of opening things up with someone that's just so dynamic?
Yeah, so having Bryce when he played last year and then this year, more specifically this year, because we had a whole off season to kind of think of. At least I did. I'm not joking. I was thinking about. I know Coach Marcel was too, but of just things we could do with Bryce Perkins back there, like in regards to our offense. But we hung our head on like our main run scheme. Obviously, it's no secret to the rest of the league was a zone read, just inside zone read, and then we started putting reads on a bunch of stuff just to give him the opportunity to have the ball in his hands and make plays, because as you guys saw all year, he is capable of making plays that are not human at times. So in regards to the
Probably
running backs,
hurdled one or two too many times for
oh yeah,
for your
yeah.
guys' liking, but
I've tried telling him not to hurdle so many times. He's gonna do what he's got to do. It's just he can't control it. And I quote, it just happens. So so the it's in regards to our running backs role in that, like I just tell him, especially on any read scheme, we're always expecting to get the ball. If we don't, then you adjust from there. But you've got to be on your read keys. You got to be expecting to get the ball, going through our pre-snap process, all that stuff up until you don't get the ball and it gets pulled in from there. We'll have different assignment based on different plays. But I mean, having Bryce on in our huddle I mean, you guys saw you guys. We've been talking about Toa. You remember the game? I think it was Arlington. He's like, I love Bryce Perkins. That's the exactly how everybody feels. You should hear Coach Run yelling for the offense up in the box. So, everyone. But it was an absolute privilege to have him, on our team this year, and he helped make us a better team offensively and enabled us to do things that we've been wanting to do for a long time too, in regards to run game things and stuff that I think a lot of that too was just having familiarity, like I said, with everybody in the system. We were able to kind of add on different things, but with Bryce this year, we were able to do a lot of things to get the quarterback involved in the run game. And I know you guys had Horton on here last year, and he was talking about gap fits and all that stuff. And like remember him talking about us in regards to we weren't that hard to game plan against, but we were one of the hardest to actually play against, like
Execute.
when the ball,
Yeah.
when execute against, right when the ball snapped. That's just because other teams all have to account for the for the quarterback as well in the run game, pulling the ball, and then we'll have different motions with different options. We were running option basically with with routes and stuff, the modern day RPO options, and then also if the running back ever gets the ball when they're running that one high and asking it all, those guys just to fit one gap, my running backs always be ready to make one guy miss. That's what I'm trying to train them to do too. So
My last question I know is about the offense getting better and better each year and kind of some of those inconsistencies. But what has been consistent is every year with you in Michigan, two of your running backs have been in the top 10 rushing yards. 2023, it was Reggie and Stevie Scott. 2024 is Wes Hills and Matt Colburn. And this past season, it was Nate McCrary and Toa. Could you kind of talk about the success that you've seen with each running back group over the last few years and how you've kind of continued that despite not necessarily a complete lack of continuity, but like injuries got in the way, some guys decided to retire, and just kind of what that process has been like for you?
yeah, no doubt. And I've just been extremely fortunate to work with like great players. I know every coach says that, but I mean, no BS. Like the guys that I've had ever since the first year, they come to work ready to go, and then it makes my job easy, man. Because I got to have a plan, and we got to have, a process to go about our business. And if they don't commit to it and they aren't in on it, then it's not going to work, right? No matter how good a player you are, you got to be in it to win it. Teamwork makes the dream work, all this stuff. I've got a bunch of corny slogans I use with the guys, and I tell them straight up in the beginning of the year, you're going to hear it all the time because it's going to help. Whether you want to make fun of it when you hear it or get sick of it, whatever, I'm putting it in putting it in visibility through in your ear space so that you're hearing it constantly and it's keeping us in the direction we want to go. Like whether you want to hear it or not, you're going to keep hearing it. And we have this year, I mean, and years past too. But specifically this year, the guys were so good. I think part of it's the continuity piece, right? We had Colburn back, we had McCurry back, Toa back. They all been here before, so that played a huge role. But that they police each other, like they know the expectations now, and they were even kind of joking at it as the season progressed, like trying to turn into Coach Pat out on the practice field and like, hey, quit lock in, quit joking, focus, like blah blah blah, and like doing it with each other, holding each other accountable, giving each other corrections, kind of how I do, because they have an O-line background, fullback background. I really enjoy my pass pro, and I want to make sure the running backs are good at it and put good stuff on tape. So they love getting in like a good stance and showing the pass pro and stuff, and showing some Coach Pap stats, but.
That's awesome.
That number is only a thing because of the guys I work with, man. I've been Steve, and that goes to the coaching staff as well. Kaiser and Coach Nolan bringing in great guys, and then Tim Holt getting these O lines we can't go anywhere without them blocking, right? Shoot, some of those holes this year, I think anybody could have got through, but they did a great job all season. Our tight ends too, they get better every year as well. Like that, I think a big piece is the continuity because we've had the same coaches and we've been improving the personnel, but then obviously getting to hear guys to get them to hear the same message over and over, especially when you're saying that there's a condensed training camp, right? Like everything's quicker. So you're essentially, it's a shotgun blast of information and techniques you're trying to get these guys to execute. And it's really hard the first year when you're starting from nothing. And for our rookies, even we had some dang good rookies this year that didn't play till later in the year because they weren't able to execute as fast. The more thinking you're doing, the slower you are able to execute. That little fraction of a second is going to be the difference between winning and losing a job. So I just think all those things kind of factor in regards to all that.
Absolutely, and that's kind of the beauty of the UFL is you get to see guys take advantage of their opportunities and make the most of every rep, right? Like you can't be dogging it in practice, you can't be dogging it on special teams because if you are, odds are you're not on the team by the end of the season. It's not the NFL where you have your big star. Like these teams want to win now, and they need the best guys on the field. We got a question here from Christopher. Outside of Michigan, of course, who had the best running back room in your opinion in the UFL?
Who had the best running back room? San Antonio, if they were healthy, definitely had a great running back room. Their league was stacked, but I mean, if they had Lovett, McFarland, and the emergence of Corbin, and then they went and took my guy Sherman when he hit the street too. But he, wish Jaden the best over there, but. They have a great room, and then the other guys before they got kind of decimated with some injuries is Arlington. I think Balaj he's a great player. I mean, he was setting the league on fire before he got injured, and him and Day Hunter and some of those other guys they had there. Birmingham's always solid. I'd say and then St. Louis. I mean Sailors, and then Jarvion Howard. He looked really good this year too, especially in the beginning of the year. But the Sailors himself, I mean, him alone is going to get your running back room in the conversation. He does it all. You just leave him out on the field all game, kind of like San Antonio was doing with Corbin at the end of the year. But, yeah, I'm not going to lie. Never mind. I'm not even going to go there. The first game, St. Louis ran the crap out of the ball. You guys remember that? I was like, man, these guys are setting the world on fire.
They had like 273 rushing yards that game or something like that.
I was like, man. And then Houston though after that game now their GM got busy. You guys remember the next transactions after that there was some bad effort being put on tape, and they actually held some of those guys accountable, which was cool to see. But anyway,
yeah, Houston's defense the last several weeks I thought played pretty well.
Once
that
they
first week was like, wow, this is awful, and then they held Arlington to 11 points the very next week, so they
beat
got
our
it together
ass.
pretty quick. They
beat
were
our
tough
butts.
against
Sorry,
you
I don't know
guys.
if I can cuss. They beat us towards the end of the year, but they're night and day a different defense towards the end of the year. But anyway, I was getting mad at the dang inflated Russian sets, but hey, they went out and handled business. You can't control how your opponent's playing, right? You got to make them pay. You got to make them stop it. Make them stop you.
No, absolutely.
I also we missed it when I got cut out, but I saw somebody ask the question about Tua Tau in his golf cart upgrade. I don't think so.
I can put it back up.
I don't think he's gotten around to that yet. I've been keeping tabs on him, and he's got some. He's been training his butt off. I've seen that, and I think he's hit the links a few times, but. I don't think he's gotten around to get himself a golf course. I think that's probably more. He can speak on that one himself, but I think that's more when he gets to the NFL. He'll be worrying about the golf cart. Have you seen the guy run, man? You don't need that. If anything, that's a good point. I should probably tell him to put some weights in his bag and start doing some running from hole to hole, get some extra work in.
There you go. So I know we're planning on doing a little film breakdown session similar to what Jaron did, so might be about time to try to move into that if you're ready, Jordan.
Okay, yeah, we'll knock a little bit of stuff out real quick. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, let me pull this up here, guys. I'll just do the entire screen. All right, can you guys see that?
Yes, we can.
All right, so the first thing I got for you is just it's going to be you guys can still see me, everything, we're all good?
Oh yeah.
Or is it just
we're all
okay.
We're set.
Sweet. So I put together a little clip of just the rushing touchdowns. Like Toa ended up leading the league in rushing touchdowns. He had 6 this year, and he actually only played like 6 regular season games. I think 8 total. and he had 3 more in the playoffs versus Birmingham, obviously. But we do one. That's a big point of emphasis of us that we teach here is like the closer we get to the goal line, the different in kind of your mindset goes and your approach. And your pre-snap process, different things like that, as well as your post-snap process in regards to getting in the end zone. So I put a little cut up here. I'm going to go through it pretty quick because I want to make sure we get through everything. But this is just all of our rushing touchdowns on the season. The first one here was obviously from the championship game. This is Nate. He bounced this one. This was from the 35-yard line. This was the furthest one this year. But Nate does a great job here of getting. We're running inside zone, and he does a great job of getting us out to the front door. 1 second. There we go. He does a great job of getting out the front door here. Usually, let me pause this. So we're running inside zone left. We got an even front, right? So there's 4 defenders. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to be starting our read to the play side, right? So we're going to be coming across right here, straight down the hash. And then this guy's going to be basically kind of telling us what to do. We got to go from him to our next read. But as you can look from the snap here, our O-line does a great job on that double team. He sees the hole and hits it. Did a great job with his knee drive. It was a big point of emphasis this week. I hate that finish, and Nate can hear me and get mad at me all he wants, but we got to make sure we're finishing. I always talk about leaving no doubt. And the fact that he held that ball out there, I was losing my mind in the headset. But I was also ecstatic because that was a great effort by Nate. And he did
I just want to
job.
point out on that last play because I saw it live and it still irks me to this day is number 7 Isaiah Johnson, the safety, like completely taking the cheese and going straight downhill. Yeah, you can see he's like last line of defense. And I was screaming at my television at that point because that was the first drive. I was so mad. But anyway, good touchdown.
Hey, we didn't have much to cheer about this game, man. So give us that one, all right? There was no
Yeah, you can have it. You can have it.
There. That was just the first one, okay? Now it's going from distance. It's going from distance, right? So Nate, that's when I'll actually echo that last one. Like that's when Nate was at his best, right here, kind of the high red. The last couple seasons, he's had some big runs here that have even been called back as a holds and whatnot. But this is one of his best runs all season. One of the things he does best, Nate does, is we're leaving this backside defensive end. Sorry, let me get a pause here. We're leaving this backside defensive end because Bryce is reading him. Right. So what Nate is really good at and what we worked at a ton is when this end is closing down, being ready to break that tackle or just avoiding that in general. But basically focusing on knee drive, timing up your same foot, same shoulder, which I'll get in a little bit when I talk about these chips, but to just get vertical straight down this hash and then just be ready to drive, have that knee drive so that D end, when they're reaching, can't make that tackle. And then we've worked one of our main points of emphasis. I'll hit this on this next view is being special at the second level. We work it every day in Indy. And, here he chooses to use the weapon hand, gets a good stiff arm, and then he finishes, leaves no doubt. That's what I'm talking about. And then you saw him there celebrating at the end. That's one thing I'm always big on the guys about. Like, we work hard for this crap. We work too hard for this crap not to enjoy success. So go about doing it the right way. Celebrate with your teammates and have fun out there while we're doing it, right? It's a game and a business, but
as long as you don't get like a taunting penalty or something.
Exactly. Which they know that line, what's across. We make it clear. Here we're running outside zone offset.
So hey, I see myself.
Yeah, look at wait, let's go back. Who was that here? Get prime time for
film
this
breakdown.
Look at this guy. Drops one camera to get to the better res and then gets are you kidding me? Well, I mean, that's elite. That's elite right
the technique.
There.
I mean, that's top tier.
You can tell you've been in the lab there, man. That doesn't just come naturally, but So aside from James's greatness, now here on this play, the O-line does a heck of a job. We're running outside zone from the offset gun here. So a lot of times this one's going to either end up cutting up here or cutting right inside of this double team that you got between Big Chim and Cole Cabral here, the right tackle and right guard, which is exactly where we go. Do you guys see Cole Cabral's block right there? I mean, come on. Look at 69
UFL.
Boom. Clears the way. Toe is special at the second level, like we're talking about, running with great pad level. The other thing I really like to talk about is not wasting any steps with your cuts, right? He hits this, and then his next step is vertical. Now, he doesn't chatter. He doesn't lose any ground. He's vertical right away, focusing on that knee drive, getting low and finishing. The two things we talk about big time in this room is like being we call it R&R, and it's not like relax and what is it? What's the rest and relaxation? It's reliable and relentless. Those are our two big things that we pride ourselves on. So now we're getting closer to the goal line. This one, I think any of us could have scored on because our O line does such a good job. But Toa hits it. He's right on his read, which is 98 here. He cuts it right down the hash. We call this a hash gash. So that's a sweet spot whenever we're running this play is we want to be able to just take this thing straight down the hash. That's our aiming point that makes us right as running backs. And you can see right there, he's just straight down the hash.
I think all 3 touchdowns for Toa in that game, he was untouched. Like it was look at the same play every single time.
Yeah, the O line got after it. We obviously had some built up steam for Birmingham.
Absolutely. Which
every game with them is absolute dogfight. So
we got a question here from LeBeau. Was there any different game plan for Birmingham that you had for Michigan during the regular season?
So we played them so many times in a row. Honestly, like we added bits and pieces of things, but we stayed true to kind of what we've been trying to do. What usually happens is we just haven't taken the care of the ball, and we've kind of been detrimental to ourselves, been our own worst enemies in regards to our game plan. So we haven't really gotten to fully execute it the way we want to. This year we got to it in the championship game, and we really wanted to get after them in the run game, and because that's the one thing that's kind of been a freaking what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a subset. It's a dang it. It's a big word. Sorry that I'm looking for here, but the rest of the league,
I'm
it's an
homeschooled, I have no
outlier.
idea what
It's
you're
an
talking about.
outlier. That I was looking for. The one outlier we had versus Birmingham's defense is like they do really good stopping the run, but every time we play them, we average a lot. We do a good job in regards to running the ball. We're averaging over 4 carry and a couple different run schemes, and we just don't get to run them enough, or we have penalties, or game flow dictates we don't have time to run them. So we really just wanted
Right.
to be able to commit to that. And if we go out, we go out on our swords. So it was
Kind of
awesome
like in
getting that chance.
the 2024 championship game against them where you were running the ball really well, but then you kind of get behind and you have to start throwing the ball and just kind of you had to get away from the run at that point when you're down 2 scores. Like
100%, 100%, man. And then also some penalties killed us in some games where we had some big runs called back, some stuff like that. So it was just awesome to finally get to execute it how we wanted. So now we're here on the 5-yard line, guys. So one big thing that I'll tell my guys now is like pad level, pad level, pad level, stay low, commit to your read, hit it when you guys see it. We're just running inside zone here. Toa, this is another one that gets to the front side. When they get to the front side, that's 2 things. That means the O-line did a heck of a job, and then also on their double teams, but then also the running backs got good vision. So this one's easy. They slant away from it, makes his read easy. One thing that I teach that we really preach here is the running back, whether it's inside zone, duo, is getting up close to the line of scrimmage. The book of Eli, walk by faith, not by sight. Getting up close as close as you can to the rear ends and right up to those double teams of the O linemen. And then that basically helps capture the linebackers in those double teams. And it makes the defenders commit to their fits. From there, it makes a clear picture for you to then hit your hole and make guys miss. And this is just a great effort. Knee drive, finish, getting low. Let me go back a tiny bit. So one big key that I got for the backs, whenever they get close, this actually I learned back in my old arena days. I'd only get the ball on goal line situations as a fullback, but whenever they see this white line here, so when they get within the 2-yard line, I just tell them you want to take your eyes and face mask and just start to get as low as you can and shoot straight down at that thing to help get you leverage and pad level so that you can drive forward and no one can get under you, because that's the only way the defense is going to stop your progress is if they're able to get out leverage you and get underneath you. And then James just alluded to this. Here's another great job by the O line. just getting a hat on a hat, and then Toe was walking in untouched. Great cut by him as well. That's like a dang individual drill right there. Just got a one-on-one versus that linebacker. Plus, we had a guy for him. And then here's just another good finish from Toe, getting low and finishing like we were talking about. This will probably actually be the last. Actually, I got to show one more. I got to show the Arlington one. But here, Toe does a great job, kind of like I was just talking about, walking by faith, not by sight. Patient run here. This is very good patience. Feels it out, gets off of it, sees what he's got, gets low, and actually gets underneath Cole Cabral so low there that he got underneath his
That low
damn
center of
hips.
gravity is just, it's a different animal.
Yeah, like that staying ain't just like an old football homage. Like if you can get lower down near the goal line and you got power, which like Toa does, these guys do, everyone in our room does, you're gonna be a problem. So here's just one more versus Birmingham. I honestly can't get enough watching these versus them. And Birmingham fans or whoever's watching, I don't give a crap, man. We worked 3 years to finally get you guys, so I'm gonna enjoy it when we got it. Okay, but this is a great effort right here. So here, guys, when we knew, oh sorry, that was way too far. Let me go right here. That's Arlington. Give me a sec. I'm going to give you guys a good shot of the end. Okay, so here we knew that this safety was going to be left for us. We didn't have a hat for him. Everyone else, I won't waste time drawing it all up, but these guys are all committed to their assignments are all inside here. We're leaving 32 for us. We call it BYOB. We got to bring your own block, right? So here, Toa gets the opportunity. As you can see, just like we planned, he ends up getting out across, cutting back this inside zone because of how they stunted. They like to stunt, so cuts it back. Because Reed took him there, he comes with pad level, and 32 never had a chance of stopping that force at that level. So here, this was with obviously last play of the game, and Toa does a great job of finishing. The only thing I actually mentioned this to James the other day. I actually got really mad on that one. See, I don't even have the end zone for it. But I'm always preaching leave no doubt. And on that one, he was just a little bit too high. And you can clearly see it from the end zone, like he crosses the ball over. But I would have just loved to see him get low and dive in and not leave any of that crap to chance, right? So that's it for the actually I got
UFL
one.
highlights is still in the chat. He's not too happy that you showed that one. He's a die-hard Renegades fan.
Oh, then I got one more for him. Here we go. This is the next
Let's
one.
go.
This is the
he
next
says
one.
vacate the win against Arlington.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That Bryce Perkins comment was funny. That was hilarious. I read that earlier in the chats when we were going through it about him being an alien or something. Here is another good example. Like Toa just made this one shake. There's a little bit of penetration. The O-line does get a hat on a hat, which gives us a shot here. But obviously, like Arlington's not in bad shape if we're cutting this back. But luckily, something in Toa, between these two gets him to the front side. And then from there, he's just got to make one guy miss, like we talked about, bring your own block. And he gets low there. He was not going to be stopped. Sorry about it, Arlington fans, but gosh, man, you guys, Arlington, though, for real, you guys have been tough the last couple of years. You guys giving us a run for our money, man. You guys, they got a great team.
That's back-to-back years where it's like literally the final play that you guys have won the
game. Literally. I can't see the chat, so is there anything else you needed to get to on that?
Not at the moment, other than God, that Arlington game was so good.
It was, man. That was one of the craziest games.
Actually MI Panthers dude, so I'm sure you've seen him on Twitter before.
Oh yeah, definitely. Great guy. Yeah, Michigan Panthers legend for real. Appreciate you tuning in, man. So here, guys, I am going to show you. This is from an individual drill that we do, but I wanted to. Every running back coaches all like to talk about, running the ball and all that stuff. Like I said, we put a big emphasis on pass blocking and doing the little things right here to get us to the next level, hopefully, right? So this is just an element of pass pro. I'm not going to get into all that. That's a, presentation for another clinic or something on pass blocking. But here, I just wanted to get into chips because we did a great job of that this year, especially Toe. I got some cut-ups of him I'm going to get to. But before that, I wanted to show you guys how we actually teach the chip and execute it. and it'll be really quick. But this is an indie drill. The only thing here is there's a play action fake in the stuff that I'm going to be showing you guys. We aren't doing any play action fakes, but I'm going to just run it one time through. That's just a little picture of the drill here, and then we're going to break it down now. So the biggest thing that we're not doing the play fake on this. So, but the big thing I want to emphasize from when you watch Toe is he's always keeping his head and eyes up, and he's getting to the line tight off the tackle's outside hip. So basically, if there was an edge rusher, we're coming right off the tackle's hip right here, and we're going in hard for those ribs. We're gonna give him same foot, same shoulder, everything we can. Really trying to take a lot out of his pass rush and help out our tackles. So this is exactly that now. So we're talking about on contact, a powerful base, and then we want active feet into the SFSS, which stands for same foot, same shoulder. You're getting low, you're generating force from the ground, and then you're delivering that force straight into that defender's rib cage. So the keys to that same foot, same shoulders, you're aiming for the defender's outside numbers. You got to stay low. You got to stay vertical. You can't lose any ground and keep your eyes up. You got to see what you're hitting, right? And then you got to run through the man. You're not running just into him. You're not like putting hands on him, patty caking him, and then getting out to your route. You're delivering a blow. You're trying to slow down the rush. You're trying to help out our O linemen, and you're trying to put a little bit of fear into those D linemen too. And then after that is said and done, you got to reset your feet. Then you got to get out on your route and relentless to finish. So that's one of the cool things about the chips. You can go out there, execute violently, deliver a blow, establish some physicality other than when you got the ball. And then you get a chance to catch it and do the same thing with the ball in your hands. So that's it for that. Now let me show you guys real quick. I got some clips here. So first couple I'm going to show you is just some good little chips technique-wise. So there's that one. There's another one. Here's a good view of it here. So here you can see him fitting tight off the tackle's hip, D ends downfield, same foot, same shoulder. He could be a little bit lower here and a little bit tighter, but that being said, he had his head up, delivers a good blow. Then here, guys, this is a very good chip block. This is against Birmingham. Here, this is like teach tape. So you can see 78 fitting, toe is, we rep this a lot in practice, so he comes through with a lot of practice, but he knows exactly where he's going to stop, put his foot in the ground, and then drive this knee, same foot, same shoulder through this defender in any type of target he is. He's not even looking at us here. And watch the force toe it hits him with right there.
Goodness gracious.
He does a heck of a job. Here's another one against DC. Sorry, Nick. But same deal. Toe is really good at this. He generates that force through that. Uses his eyes. He's very coachable, like I told you guys. So is Nate. Nate's a good chipper as well. And he just delivers a blow straight through it. And Ryan Nelson doesn't even have to do his job after that. And what does this play into as the game goes? So this happened multiple games this year. Here's one versus DC, but the DN now, after he got chipped, he doesn't want to be chipped again. So watch how this affects their rushes. This wasn't even the same guy we chipped on that one, but they go and watch the iPads, right? So they see Toa to their side. They know that could be coming. He sees Toa coming out that way. He's going hard inside to avoid it. Makes Ryan Nelson's job really easy, right? And then after that, we're getting out on our routes, turning our hip, getting upfield, relentless to the finish, getting the first down there. I'll let him get out of bounds because we were trying to stop the clock, obviously, because y'all were scoring so many dang points, Nick. But anyway, here's another example of that. This will be the last one I got for you guys, but this was the same game. You can see same deal. This is a different D end. But Toa's coming out that way. Got his aiming point. He does drop his head here, but he does everything he can to avoid it. Goes straight into Nelson. Then he gets out on his route, makes a play there, does a great job on our option route and gets the ball. Wish he could have broke that tackle with some leg drive, but that was
and that's got to be incredibly helpful, especially. Oh wow, that's a lot of.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's Riverside, but that's got to be incredibly helpful for, especially if you notice that one of your tackles might be struggling a bit with a matchup, having a guy that can go in there and really deter. And I mean, speaking of DC, like their defensive ends were really good this year, like.
No doubt.
Some of the toughest guys to stop off the edge.
Robertson was a monster. And I mean, Fisher's always going to Fisher, right? He's a good player. And then Mintz came in and gave him some juice. Their whole team is, I mean, just from obviously we spent a lot of time breaking them down going into it, and I knew all week. I'm like, man, these guys are built to get up early, and then their defense just relishes because I mean, before the last game, we've done pretty well against DC in regards to running the ball, so we don't get them the opportunity to get up early. And even in the championship, we ran the ball well. But unfortunately, like we talked about, time and the score obviously dictated we couldn't commit to that. It's
Right.
cool. It's cool when you're averaging 8 yards a carry, but not when cool when you got to score,
40
down
points to
whatever.
get back into
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I didn't want to say any numbers, but we were down a lot. So they did a great job of executing their game plan and got us out of that. So that's another way to stop the run, I guess. Right.
Yeah, I think with you guys in DC, you two are like, as far as like, pretty much going back to previous years too. I think you two are like the deadliest teams with a lead. Where if you guys got up 2 scores, it was over. Like, because you both could run the ball so well, you both were pretty good against the pass. Like, you really like were good at like stepping on the throat of teams that were kind of down a little bit. And I think I literally said before the championship game, I was like, I think the first quarter is the most important quarter for this game, which you'd never say. Like, it's middle eight, fourth quarter, whatever. But, like, whichever team gets up is going to dictate the rest of the game. And that's what DC did. They got they were firing on all cylinders, and that was it. I think legitimately, if you flipped the first quarter, it's different. It's a totally different game. And, both you
Yeah.
guys, that was what you were best at.
That was a great point, Nick. I mean, nailed it on the head, man. Because like you just said, Coach Marcel, he came from Philly where they were doing a lot more. Their personnel was structured different. They were throwing the ball way more. So the last 2 years, he's had to adapt his play calling to our personnel, and that's one thing he's committed to this year. If they can't stop us, he's going to he's going to stick to the run game and commit to it. So. Exactly like you said, if y'all weren't stopping us, we would have just kept doing it if we had a lead. But
It
obviously
literally
we're
happened
mixing
in
some
the first
shots
game.
too, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
in the first
he does a
game.
great job of mixing in shots off of that and doing different things as well off that. We obviously aren't super one dimensional. You got to keep the defense a little bit honest. But I just thought with my original comment too, like y'all's defensive backs, your linebackers, everything, your system is just meant like it thrives when you guys have the lead. And every game I broke down. So we played right into that, and then y'all handled business. So good,
And there was like
good on you guys.
the 2 plays that really defined it to let it get away was one, the fumble on that punt return that really took a lot of life
The kickoff.
out of Michigan.
Mhm.
Or on the
That was
kickoff
tough.
where I believe Gunnar Oaks knocks it out of Malone's hands himself, just like a
Yeah,
worst
I didn't know that
worst
until I
time
saw it.
possible
It's bad luck. Yeah, it's bad
for
break.
that. And then there's a 4th and goal where Tiamu just makes Rondell Carter miss and gets in, and then you're down 2 scores, and then
He played his absolute. Tommy played his absolute freaking ass off that game. God dang, man.
like
He
that
balled.
was insane.
Which is it's
Your
funny
guys across
because
the ball, man.
like Perkins had like one of the best games in like spring football history, but like no one's gonna talk about it because Teamu like had the best in the most important game. Like, like I don't think he missed a throw all game. Like legitimately,
doubt.
I had to go back, but it was just like anything that they tried worked.
No doubt, man. Like, it was a very frustrating way for us to go out. And one good thing's like that. We were talking about Bryce earlier. He'll have respect for me the rest of his life, my life, I guess. He'll probably outlive me, but he played injured. Like he missed a couple games. He played injured versus Birmingham, and then I can only imagine like he made some crazy plays versus Birmingham, like where he got us out of trouble, and then having to just that game he had 3 weeks to rest up for. So then we go straight into that game, and he was he came out there and battled his ass off. So like that's one big thing that I respect from our guys and the culture that Mike Nolan's established is like these guys come to play for each other and will play as hard as they can for each other. Like it's maybe the spring league and whatever, they're just mercenaries out to get NFL, whatever the detractors are from the league. That ain't the case with us. These guys come and there's actually like some camaraderie and culture that we've established in Michigan. And I mean, it fired me up so much hearing Bryce saying that he was going to be playing through this injury and giving everything he got, all this different stuff. But the other piece to that is it's obviously frustrating losing to y'all, but I mean, as I go back and look at everything, like we're still as Michigan, the positive from our angle, like we've gotten better every year. This year we got another game further. We beat Birmingham. We did at the end of the day exactly what we were supposed to do this year. As frustrating as that is to say, I would have loved to have been holding up that trophy, going and having a parade in Michigan or whatever the heck they were doing the other day in DC. But unfortunately, that wasn't our time this year. But God does. I mean, I'm a Christian man. I'm a man of faith. God doesn't make mistakes, so this all happened for a reason, and hopefully we can. Hopefully he's got big plans for us next year because each year so far we've gotten better. It's 3 years in a row, so we just got to stay on that track.
Yeah, kind of looking ahead to next year as we wrap up the show. We really appreciate you taking out all this time. What are kind of some of your major takeaways from this season and kind of heading into next year? Things that you think you did well and things that you want to improve upon.
Oh man, there's a lot, but the biggest thing is like consistency. I talked about earlier being reliable and relentless. Like I think in the running back room specifically, the more we can do that, the more opportunities my guys are going to get. To show what their ability what they can do with their ability. And like that's one thing with our offense. We run a lot of zone reads, so sometimes it'll get pulled when it should have been given, yada yada yada. But we're always ready for the ball. If we don't get it, then we're going to adapt and make plays. But it can get frustrating for them at times. But that's one thing that having a mature group of guys is so helpful with. Like they'll stay ready, they'll stay in the fight, they'll know, oh yeah, if I got that I probably would have ran for like who knows whatever, but didn't get the out. But hey, next play, we've got the next play mindset. These guys can wash it right away, so I'm looking forward to mostly, man, just building off what we've established these last 2 years. Hopefully, I want my guys to all make it to the NFL, but if they're back, uh, shoot, just keep improving, right? That's the goal of this league, is improvement. We're here because we are missing or lacking something, at least in the NFL's eyes, right? So let's get that sorted so then they don't have that to say, right? Like
Right.
you're in control of that narrative. If you go put it on tape that you can do all these things that they say you can't, then it's on them at the end of the day if they don't sign you or not, for whatever the case may be. But if you're handling your stuff on the field and off the field and being a true professional, then you're gonna inevitably get an opportunity. So you just got to make sure you're handling that work. And that's one glad thing that I'm saying with the Michigan Panthers that we do, not just in the running back room, but all across the board, man. A great group of guys to work with. And honestly, it's a blessing. And I'm already ready to get going, man. We've got to wait a couple months, which sucks. But
I know it's gonna be
yeah,
a long
man,
off season. It's only July.
I know.
But
Yeah,
at least the
they gotta
NFL's
they
coming
gotta
up,
do
and
something to keep us busy.
yeah,
They
NFL's
gotta give
coming
us
up.
something.
Maybe we'll get to watch some Michigan Panthers on Sundays, depending on who might be the next to go. We had the Jake Bates story last year, so that was fun. But and you get the scout
I like
guys for
that.
the draft. So I'm actually really excited for this preseason to watch tape.
Got Ryan Nelson workout today from the Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers.
So
Yeah.
it's tough
Yep.
with the. Oh, it's tough with the championship game teams where like you guys are not going to get like right away opportunities, but like this week, Michigan and DC, those teams are too talented. They're going to be the majority of the signings for the next week or two, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I think from what I heard, Ryan did really well. So I think fingers crossed. I think that hopefully some will work out from there. So, and then like you're saying, hopefully more guys and more guys and more guys can keep getting lagged on, because it seems like for some reason, I don't know if something changed this year, but I feel like or my recollection's just off, but I felt like more guys were getting signed at this point last year.
It was
I
because
also
of
think
that where like
I
we're on pace from last year total signings for the league, but the teams that are in the championship game are always going to lag behind because they don't get the workouts. Because by the time you guys are done, pretty much mini camp's over. So
yep. So
really,
it's just straight camp.
yeah. So for you guys, like you're kind of in Birmingham's spot, and Birmingham's in your spot. So they're ahead right now. But like just like how Birmingham kind of caught up and it was neck and neck, I think you guys are going to make up that difference and probably both be over 10, most likely, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean,
I'd
there's
love to
definitely
see,
not many that are right.
I'd love to see COC Mariner finally get a look, because I feel like he's been really good the last couple years, and he's like the definition of a zone beater. Like, I felt like that is his bread and butter. So I'd love to see him get a
Yeah,
look.
he has a great understanding of those windows, of
Yeah.
how to get open in those windows. Shoot, I could keep going. Keep going.
We could break down the whole roster.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, on that whole O line, I hope those guys get a look. Nelson obviously got to work out. Cabral deserves a look. I know he went to the Cowboys last year. No, I really would love to see Noah Johnson get a look. I think what hurts him is he's a little undersized for a center, which sucks because his tape is incredible. Like every big run play that I watched, looking back at the All 22, like his blocks are like he's down the field, like he's doing something. He's blocking two guys, like.
Can I actually get a shout out in for our O-line? Because I got to. Those are my freaking guys. Obviously, I used to play O-line back in the day in high school. But the Ryan Nelson, also amazing center. I call him the dang admiral captain, but he is just as good of a leader, if not better, as he is a player. He keeps our guys going. He's a great captain. And it's grown. Like, he's gotten so much better each year. And then obviously Cole Cabral, Mr. Reliable, shows up. He's playing with like a dislocated kneecap the last two games, but he was not going to miss the Birmingham game. You got Chim out there. He's getting after it with his sifts on the backside, man, making the running backs look good all the time. Jake Burton, man, that's literally Mr. Reliable, like just same guy, no matter what's going on. And also, in regards to what was the name of the LeBeau? Who's the Arlington fan?
James Baker, UFL highlights.
James Baker. The only reason we beat you guys, the officials came back and said in their announcement, was because Burton was right there calling timeout, or else I guess our sideline didn't get it in time. But Jake doing it on the field got us our timeout.
Wow.
So anyway, he was also he's been an amazing player for us. And then Ryan Nelson, you just said it, moving to left tackle this year, man, like his game went to a whole nother level. He was just rotating. He'd start guard for us last year, but he's splitting time, whatever the case may be. But this year he was absolutely one of our, anchors on the O line, and then dually rotating in. I got to get them all. I got to get Keith Russell, Victor Kern. Man, I see you guys show up to work every day and put in that effort. It fires me up. Cam Carter. I really can't miss any of them now that I'm running my suck. But
yeah, Carter was cool because obviously, big trade. Marcus kind of took everybody by surprise when Marcus Sims gets shipped off, and people were like, why'd you trade for a backup offensive tackle? But he's got plenty of starting experience and really put some good reps on tape those final few games that he was active. And I've been following Cam for a few years because he was with the Generals in 2023, which I'm sure you remember because you were with the league that year. But now you've got just more depth. I mean, he's a big guy.
No doubt, man. And he looked good from the jump, right? Because obviously we traded, Marcus, miss him, wish him the best. Man, he was a great player for us, gave us so much. But Cam came in, and I'm an O-line guy at heart, so when I can, I try to watch a little bit of those guys. And he looked good. He had good feet, and tackles are hard to find in this league. So having him and being able to step in and play was huge. Dooley played both guard and tackle for us. Then Keith Russell, and then I swear I better not be missing somebody. I think we might.
I think you got everyone.
I think you got him.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, but those guys, I had to. And then the tight ends, Gunnar Oaks. I see you, man, freaking clearing the way. Cole leaving it all out on the line, and then if this guy gets with Jalen Weidermeyer back, just you guys stay tuned on him. He could be a special player for us in regards to blocking and catching. He's already shown a little bit of both, but he's got a whole different type of potential that he can tap into, and I think Coach Watkins can help him get there. Shout out to Coach Watkins and Coach Fairman too. I got to get them all. I think those are the only two that
might as well just list the whole coaching staff. Except Coach Runs, though. We already shouted him out.
Yeah, Runs is on enough podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
He don't need it. But I still got you, Runs. Notice, I just still got you. I got Runs within the first minute of being on here, just so we know. Call him out on that next time. I said I give him a shout out the first minute we were on.
Yeah. You gave him a shout out even though he was trying to replace you with the different running backs coach.
That's a talk for another day there.
That's a story for another time.
Man,
Oh man.
my God,
Well,
those
Jordan,
Christian
again, I really appreciate you taking the time. I don't know, Thorne, Jordan, you guys have any final comments before we wrap up things?
No, this is awesome. Good
Yeah,
time.
I had a blast, man. Hopefully everyone else enjoyed it as much as I did. That time just flew by. Sorry if you didn't have fun and you heard me running my suck. I did get pretty good at that especially when we're talking running back play, O-line play, run game. I can go for days. So
No,
I
this
appreciate
is
it.
awesome. This is the in-depth stuff that we want to see. And actually, one thing I want to point out for you before we wrap up is I saw Bobby Scott was in the chat. He tunes in every so often. He was a USFL quarterback in the 80s with the Generals and the Chicago Blitz. So he got to watch some of your
Nice.
film breakdown. So
Awesome.
pretty cool stuff.
Awesome,
Bobby,
man.
appreciate you watching. But I think that about does it for us here at Around the UFL interview series with Jordan Pavlisin. Appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Go follow us on Twitter at Around the UFL. And Jordan, where can the fans find you on social media?
So my Twitter is probably the best place. It's just at Coach Pavlisin. Good luck spelling that. Now it's a Pav as in Victor, Lisin. And then my email is if you got any like football specific questions is good too. Just first last name at gmail.com, Jordan Pavlisin at gmail.com. So.
There you have it. Well, James Larson with Pro Football Newsroom signing off.